I am delighted to welcome you all for this special session on Happy and Healthy, a panel discussion on wellness. I am CA Ashish Subhedar, chairperson of the CPE committee, and it is my honor to host this event. Before we begin, I would like to express my gratitude towards His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, our sponsors CBFS, and our corporate supporters and members for their generous support. I request everyone to stand up while we play the ICI motto song.
येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामोषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन
Thank you. Please be seated. In today's fast-paced world, where stress and anxiety are becoming increasingly prevalent, it is vital to focus on maintaining good physical and mental health. The pursuit of wellness is a journey that requires a balance between the mind, body, and spirit. May I request our chairman, CA Sajeev, for his welcome speech.
Thank you, Ashuji. Good evening, the members of Muscat chapter of ICI, dear panelists for the event. Thank you so much for joining, and I welcome you all on behalf of Managing Committee and members of Muscat chapter of ICI. In this holy month, I thank all Managing Committee members for setting up this event, Happy and Healthy, a panel discussion on the relevant topic for the time. I also wish to mention a few things for your information from the chapter side. Today, you're all aware we have been trying for a program in association with Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's a CFO program. So we have been continuously working to make it happen as an event which will mark our name in Oman as an association who will really take part in the capacity building and community development program. We had our fourth meeting with HE Faisal Rawaz today, and we have concluded the format, the timing, the committee is being formed, so which hopefully will be the proposed committee, the proposal of the committee, from chamber side and from our side, the proposal has come, which in the process. Also, the representation from the CBO also would be there. So this is one very important program as far as Muscat chapter is concerned. We spend our valuable time and devote. I'm sure the members will seriously look into this as a CSR program personally from your side, since you gained a lot of knowledge, recognition, and social and family life from this country. I believe we have that responsibility to give it back, and everyone will sincerely will contribute to this good cause. In this perspective, today's discussion, what happened with the Chief Faisal Rawaz was to have it in all three regions of Oman, Salalah, Sahar and Muscat. We'll start with Salalah and then Sohar, many programs, and Sohar as well, due to the importance and the number of companies and the potential of the geography. This, we look forward to have a great support from the members. As industry experts, basically why we wanted to come forward or probably to give this idea to the Chamber of Commerce is none other than chartered accountants can contribute in this level. The reason being the decades of expertise in each industry where we have been contributing or we have been performing our activity. So our expertise cannot be compete or probably cannot be defeated by anyone in this particular region. So this is the reason why we thought we will come forward and we will support. Secondly, as you are aware, the President and Vice President, when they visited last month, we had series of meetings with officials, Ambassador of India to the Sultanate, Invest Oman, our Chief Faisal Yusuf, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion. We discussed about the investor meet which has to happen in India, in Oman, in the second half of May. That was the planned time, but we will be looking at July, August, or September because of the time constraint and various other reasons. So that discussion happened today with ICA Delhi, President and Vice President, and the immediate past President, Debashish Mishra. And one important topic which we have been discussing for last couple of months is the GCC meet. Every year we conduct international seminar individually by each GCC chapters, but we don't know what's happening in the other country. See, basically, as a region, if you look at, it's a one region. GCC is a one region. But as a chapter, what I understand, we are around 15,000 members. 15,000 members working in this region. Both 80% maybe in industry and 20% maybe in the practice. But we are not connected, or we don't know what's happening across the region. So what we decided, we will start this year, we will start a new concept called GCC conference, where all GCC chapters will participate. It will be on rotation basis. We'll start from Muscat, Oman. The initiative is from Muscat. This year we'll have GCC conference. Then it will be on rotation basis next year to other GCC states. So this also been finalized, the plan, the timeline, and actual actions which it to happen, which will happen definitely. So which will keep you posted on what's happening on that as well. With this, thank you so much for joining again. I'm sure this is the right time for the topic, April month, the hectic audit busy schedule. I'm sure you will enjoy the session. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, panelists, for your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you, CA Sajeev. We are starting the panel discussion. May I request CA Badri to introduce today's panelist?
Thank you, CA Ashish. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege and honor to introduce today's panelist. To start with, Dr. Walid Mohammed has completed his doctorate from Menufia University, Egypt. He has over 16 years of experience with specialization on interventional cardiac procedures and cardiovascular diseases, performing diagnostic and intervention coronary procedures. Second panelist of today's evening is Dr. Sunila Kawatra. Dr. Sunila Kawatra is a clinical and therapeutic nutritionist who started her journey in the field of health and wellness as a doctor, having completed her MBBS from Gandhi Medical College, Bhopal. She did her MSc DFSM from SNGG PG, Bhopal. She firmly believes that prevention is better than cure, which led her to diversify from her clinical practice as a doctor into the field of nutrition and dieting. She now provides a one-stop solution related to lifestyle, nutrition, health and wellness, fitness, food, customized diet plans based on a person's lifestyle, medical history, health goals, and fitness level, so much more. She strives to change the long-kept perception about diet that it must be monotonous, boring. Help people bridge the gap between knowledge and application, and in general, build a healthy relationship with food. Additionally, she is also a FSSAI certified food safety supervisor, helping people have better cooking spaces and educating them how to safely handle both raw and cooked food. The third panelist of today's evening is Ms. Prema Nagesh. Ms. Prema Nagesh is the founder of Vanity Arogya Sthalam in India, which is also associated with Indian Yoga Association. Her passion for yoga developed at the age of 17 when she started taking lessons to stay fit in her hometown Pune, India. Since then, with lots of passion, she has been practicing yoga dedicatedly and also spreading the benefit of yoga to her near and dear ones, society at large. To help people better, she went on to study yoga therapy, naturopathy, and meditation from various renowned institutes of India. She also completed Yoga Masters, IOS certified from Paramananda Institute. With this brief introduction of our today's panelist, now I request moderator of this evening, Ms. C.A. Silpa Pavani, to escort all the panelists to the dais, please. As a token of our appreciation for their presence today, I request C.A. Ashish to hand over a bouquet to Dr. Walid. C.A. Ashish, please. Now I request C.A. Sangeeta to give a bouquet to Dr. Sunila. Now I request C.A. Nalini Subramaniam to give a bouquet to Ms. Prema Nagesh. I once again request C.A. Sangeeta ji to give a bouquet to our own MC member, C.A. Silpa Pavani. With these formalities, now I request C.A. Silpa Pavani to start and moderate the session. Over to C.A. Silpa Pavani.
A very good evening to all of you, and welcome to this interesting session on health and well-being. As you can see, we have a fantastic lineup of experts, and we hope to have an enriching session today. So welcome you all, and a big warm welcome to the panelists. I would like to begin this panel discussion with the first question, Dr. Walid. What are the most common heart conditions that you see in patients, and how can these be prevented?
So first of all, thank you for inviting me here. It's an honor. So regarding the heart disease, we see, of course, daily cases of chest pain, palpitation, shortness of breath, dizziness. All of these are symptoms, and behind symptoms, there is a range of diseases. So diseases ranges from a very benign disease, like some very mild stress, some mild anemia, something like this, up to a very serious and life-threatening disease. So usually what we recommend that patients should seek medical advice, and according to the analysis of the doctor and investigation sometimes requested, the doctor can recommend whether we need further investigation, this is a serious issue and we should start medication, for example, or start serious or other procedures, or he can reassure you. So once we have complaint, we go to the doctor and accordingly we take next steps.
See, that's the thing. Sometimes it's just a one-off feeling. People don't happily, excitedly go to doctors, so they end up trying to think, oh, it's not that serious, it's not that serious. But what signs would, what shows something which recurs, or how do we differentiate between, oh, it's just a one-off thing?
Okay, so if the symptoms is recurrent, so it happens frequently, or if it is severe, if it is persistent, so it's not going away, if we have associations, like we're having chest pain, and with the chest pain we have sweating, we're having dizziness, we're having severe palpitation, something like this. So if you feel it's not a transient issue, and it's not related to some anxiety or some food or something like this, you feel strange, you feel associated symptoms, you should head to the either emergency room if this is an emergency, or to your doctor, and according to your symptoms, he will decide the next step. So whatever the complaint, whatever the symptoms you are having, so if it is recurrent, if it is persistent, if you feel not right, you should hit a doctor.
Thank you so much, doctor. My next question would be to Dr. Sunila. How can proper nutrition support the overall health and happiness, particularly in the context of heart health? What are some key foods that are important for heart health?
So that's a really long
Long
question.
question, I know.
I could speak for 1 hour on that topic, but yeah. So the first thing is that, when you take care of your diet, nutrition, physical exercise, you eventually end up having a more positive body image. So when you have that, you become more confident, your social interaction increases, you are happier, the stress levels drop. And when the stress levels drop, automatically the other degenerative disorders, the risk factors, they go down. So the diet part of it is important if you want to have a positive self-image, and of course internally also it makes you healthier. So food is indispensable. You may take any number of medicines, you may visit any number of doctors, but unless and until you eat well, you cannot really, improve. So I firmly believe you literally become what you eat, so it's important to take care of what is going into your system. Now, when it comes to heart health, if you Google heart healthy foods, you'll get a whole list of foods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I enumerate them and you start eating them, will you become heart healthy? No, you cannot do that. So you need to understand what goes onto your plate and how to make the right choices. So 5 important components of a healthy balanced meal. The first one is carbohydrates. Most people fear carbohydrates, but they shouldn't. They are an important food group. Of course, you need to exercise portion control when you're having carbohydrates, but you still need to have them on your plate. Choice is yours, what kind of carbohydrates you want to have. So first of all, sugars are sugars, no matter if it's white sugar, brown sugar, organic honey, organic jaggery. They are simple sugars, and the use should be minimal when you are talking of heart health. Rice, what kind of rice you can have? How many people think brown rice is better than white rice? Not many, so I'm happy about that. So while brown rice is higher in fiber content, it also brings with it a lot of arsenic. The latest development is that white rice is still better than brown rice. And parboiled, organically sourced Sona Masuri, Matta rice, the local rice is better than basmati rice. Wheat, what kind of wheat you can have? Khapli wheat is the best variety, easiest to digest. If you're not getting wheat and grinding it yourself, and if you're getting flour, try to get amylase-rich flour, ARF, right? Of course, millets are very gut-friendly, so any kind of millets that you prefer to have, ragi, bajra, but it has to be as per season. Avoid multigrain atta. Bajra is more of a winter food, ragi is more of a summer food. So according to the season, you should be choosing your millets carefully. And of course, portion control is of utmost importance. You can't be having all the carbs together on one plate. So choose your carb, either rice or wheat or millet, and a small portion. The second major component of a meal is protein. So here we have 3 different eating patterns: vegan, vegetarians, and non-vegetarians. For vegans, dairy is not a significant source of protein because they don't have animal products. So legumes, lentils, soya, those will be the mainstay for your protein source. And you need to combine it with a small amount of cereal in order to make the protein of good quality. Sprouting, fermentation, again makes the protein easier to digest and increases the nutritional value of the legume or the lentil that you're consuming. For vegetarians, dairy can be a significant source of protein. Low-fat dairy is recommended. More so yogurt and buttermilk. Less of milk, and of course you need to avoid cheese and paneer as far as possible because they significantly come with fat as well as protein. So we don't want fat when we are talking about heart-healthy diets. The third component of a healthy balanced meal is fat itself. Now, fat again is a very wide topic, but I'll try to, give you some important pointers on consumption of fat. So you need to have fat in controlled portions, not more than 15% of your calories, whatever your dietitian calculates and tells you as per your requirement. Not more than 15% of the total calories should come from your visible fat, the fat that you're using for your salad dressings or for cooking. What kind of fat? Of course, you need to avoid saturated fat in all forms, whether it is ghee, whether it is tropical oils, palm oil, coconut oil. So you need to avoid that. Unsaturated fats, there are 2 types. There is a group A and group B. So group A is rich in omega-6, group B is rich in omega-3. If you are only using olive oil following social media, then it's a strict no-no. You need to add omega-6 also to your fat, which comes from sunflower, safflower. Those kind of oils will give you omega-6. Olive, cottonseed oil, these will give you omega-3. So you need to have a balance of the fats in your diet. Avoid red meat, lard, those are the things. Egg yolk, you need to avoid. So significant source of dietary cholesterol. So you need to avoid those when you're on a heart-healthy diet. Vitamins and minerals cannot be overemphasized. Vitamin A, C, and E, significant antioxidants. So they bring down the free radical damage that is caused to the interior of the arterial wall. Best if sourced from natural sources. So vitamin A, from yellow and orange fruits. Vitamin C from citrus fruits. If you're using lemon as a significant use of vitamin C in your food, then you need to use a freshly cut lemon. Vitamin C is extremely prone to oxidation. So if you have a half-cut lemon kept in the refrigerator, please don't use that. And vitamin E, of course, from all nuts and seeds. So that's about it. From the minerals, you need chromium, magnesium, and calcium for heart health. Again, it's widely present in the plants. So if you have a full mixed diet, you will get your daily requirement of these vitamins and minerals. You don't need to add as a supplement. Cannot overemphasize the use of fiber in a heart-healthy diet. Not more than 40 grams. Don't overdo fiber. Soluble, insoluble, whether it is coming in the form of fruits. Again, fruits, you need to control portion size, not more than 1 or 2 portions in a day. Let your dietitian decide how much fruit can go into your system because it is also a source of simple sugar, fructose. So we don't want to overdo fruits. Mixed vegetables, green leafy vegetables, yellow vegetables, again a good source of fiber and micronutrients. So I think that's about it, and that's how you choose what you want to. A good mixed diet should be good for your heart.
Thank you, Dr. Sunila. There are a lot of pointers you gave. I hope our members, we have kept some pens there and some note sheets. Of course, you have your phones, but that was a lot of information. I mean, something which, the half-cut lemon is always in my fridge. Who else has a half-cut lemon? I mean, this is something that we we don't even think about. So I'm glad you brought it out. And another thing which you mentioned during your talk is the Google, the social media. So my question now is how you, we all think we are half doctors. We come with, how do you deal with such situations, doctor, when you have these patients who think that they know it all?
Dr. Google, it's a huge problem. So sometimes, so sometimes it makes the very tiny problem a huge problem. If you have a very mild abdominal pain, you have a disaster there, and the patient is panicking, and in the contrary, sometimes the patient is arguing. So the most important point to patient to know, usually I talk to my patient like this, while I'm telling you or recommending something, this is evidence-based. So it's not my personal opinion. We have something called guidelines, and we have trials. And in guidelines, we have classes. So it's class 1, you should do so. Class 2A, it's better to do so. Class 2B, it's better to do so, but evidence is less. Class 3, it's contraindicated, you cannot do so, okay? So we have classes, and we have subclasses, and we have trials that sometimes against the guidelines, sometimes I can give my patient options. So to conclude, it's evidence-based. Cardiology is a very, very strong specialty based on very strong trials, very large trials. We have scores, we have guidelines, we have European one, an American one, and we have discussion and between the European and American and Australian and UK and so on. So once I'm giving you a recommendation, this is evidence-based, this is not my personal opinion, then sometimes I'll give you like, okay, I have like 18 years experience in the field, it's better to do so. Okay, so guidelines saying this, it's better to Google saying this, so please don't follow. And sometimes I say, please don't search for this, please. So there's side effects. There's another point. So doctor, there is side effect of the medicine, or the procedure is dangerous, for example. So what I say to the patient, this is not the right question. The right question, is it mandatory or not? Is it indicated or not? So the medicine is indicated. You have hypertension, you should take medicine for hypertension. So I know there is some side effects. It's a must. You will take the medicine, and I know the side effects. So I'm going to search for the side effects sometimes, or you're going to tell me and I'm going to change the medicine. So this is the right question. Is it right? Is it indicated? And should we do it? Then you can Google whatever you want.
Thank you, doctor. Coming back again to how social media and how we are so used to internet, Google. My next question is to Prema ji. I know that during COVID, you all had to switch over to doing classes over Zoom. Personally, we have, in fact, the CA chapter, we had Prema ji as one of our, she did with us a meditation program that time. And I could feel, I'm sure all of us, we could feel the energy, we could feel the meditation, we could actually experience it, though she was miles away from where we were. So the question to you is, how do you bring yoga into all this with heart health? How do you connect yoga with heart health? And how even you could go on with the discussion about how social media or Google or Zoom or online platforms, how they have benefited your practice and yoga as such. Your opinion on this, ma'am?
Namaste all of you once again. It's an honor for me also to join today and to share this, my personal experience as well as the experience of my students. First of all, before I start, today's topic is wellness, and yoga also talks about well-being. Overall well-being. It's not just being health. It's being well-being is the main aspect of yoga. So what does the well-being talks about is about the physical, mental health as well as spiritual well-being. So yoga is a tool. Yoga is a tool to achieve that state of existence. So how yoga is a tool? Many of you as a layman, if I tell about yoga, they say, is it asana? So then what is pranayama? What is meditation? Is yoga a meditation? No, yoga is a tool. Under that tool, using that tool, it's a process to achieve that state of existence. So in order to reach that state of happiness, so there is one more topic was given, happiness. So what does happiness means? Who doesn't want to be happy? Everybody wants to be happy. So each one's definition of happiness might differ. Some people might say, if I buy a car, I will be happy. Some people say, if I buy a good dress, I will be happy. Happiness is something non-physical phenomena. It's something more of eternal happiness. That is from inside, you should feel happy. If you connect happiness with something materialistic, that materialistic is going to go away. It's going to wean off one day. So in yoga talks about the eternal happiness, and there is a tool. According to our father of yoga, Maharishi Patanjali, he talks about 8 steps to achieve that state of happiness. In fact, 7 steps. The 8th step is the state, existence. So among these 8 steps, that comes the asana, that is the 3rd step, pranayama, that is the breath control. Then comes the further pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and further so on. So today, I would like to say that people who are in stressful, as doctor was suggesting, like people who have palpitation, people who are anxious, anxiety issues, that is because of their mind. They don't have to run around to get this, palpitation feeling. They don't have to. It's just the mind which is running. That means you have to work on your mind more. If you work on your mind, that is what yoga is. Yoga is works on the mind aspect. Automatically, the body will be taken control by the positive aspect of your mind. So how do you control your mind? Is through your breath. So breath helps to connect your body with your mind. That is what I personally have seen many of my students, even through as she was telling, during Corona time, we could connect. In fact, we could, as a team, with all the teachers, with Vanity teachers, could connect to people around globally only through the Zoom link. And every time there were 50, 60 people wanted to learn only breathing exercise. But that time, because doctors were promoting, yes, please do the right breathing, improve your lung capacity, because that is what is most needed of those time. And now also, Corona has not gone. So improving your lung capacity is what one aspect, small aspect of yoga. Ultimately, the main aim is to be happy. Eternal happiness, both, all, physical, mental, and spiritual happiness is the main.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Prema ji mentioned mindfulness. How does mindfulness come in food and diet as well, if you could elaborate?
Yeah, so like I said, you have to understand what is going onto your plate. First is hunger, when to eat. First question is when to eat. So let your hunger guide you. Just because your family follows a pattern of eating 7 o'clock breakfast, 1 o'clock lunch, and 7 o'clock dinner, doesn't mean you also have to eat at the same time. You may not be hungry at 7, you want to eat at 9. Or you may just want to have 1 meal a day. Or you may want to have 6 small meals a day. So listen to your body, pay attention to your hunger. That is where the mindfulness comes in first. You understand your eating pattern, understand your body's need, and then try to devise a meal plan for yourself. Second thing is actual plating of food. Sometimes there are things that you really like and you may want to overdo on those things. So plating, should I tell briefly about plating? So on your plate, you should imagine 4 quadrants, like divide your plate into 4 equal parts. The first thing that goes onto your plate should always be a protein source. Second should be fiber, whether cooked, uncooked. So it's a cooked vegetable or a raw salad. And the third place should be occupied by carbs, any one carb of your choice. The fourth will be some kind of liquid, whether it is a buttermilk or water or something to fill you up. Whether you take it before meal or after meal, again, that is something we can talk about. But that is how you plate your food. So never overdo on your favorite food, and never, you should have a balanced meal at all times. So that is where second part of mindfulness comes in.
Thank you, Dr.
Most
Sunil.
welcome.
My question back to you, Dr. Waleed. How does one identify warning signs of or symptoms of heart attack? So, like, not talking about general anxiety or anything, but there is some signs that you should listen to and immediately rush to an emergency.
Okay, so the most typical sign is the chest pain. So chest pain comes like compressive pain, like burning pain. Sometimes the patient, while he's entering the emergency room, I tell the nurse, please go and do ECG. So he's putting his hand like this. So it's called hand sign, so without talking even. So chest pain is a very important and typical sign. Shortness of breath, severe shortness of breath, dizziness, loss of consciousness is a very important sign, and we have many patients discovered to be ischemic heart disease only from syncopal attack or fainting attack. As I said, palpitation, low blood pressure, and so on. So we have many warning signs like this. As we mentioned earlier, once the patient is having something like this, he should head to the hospital. So yesterday I have a patient, and he, as most of us, hates the hospitals and going to doctors. While he's driving his car, he feels like crushing chest pain and sweating. So he said, okay, I'm near Herbargil Hospital, I'm going inside and see. So once he's inside, in 5 minutes, we discovered he's in a heart attack. It's telling the patient that he's coming to just to check, and he has a very serious condition, and you're going to cath lab within 5 minutes is a huge step. But inside, once you see there is a huge clot inside, and the artery is closed 99%. So I told the patient, this is your first time to complain? Yes, this is my first time. I said that you can see now, you can appreciate the artery is closing. The clot is going like this, 99%, it's closing the artery. So your decision to stop the car and get into the hospital saved your life. It's a destiny, but it's a decision too. So it saved your life. And once we started talking with the patient and taking a deep history or more thorough history, he talked about, yes, I used to have chest pain. I used to have like feeling of burning sensation. Even I sought medical advice, and they did an ECG and it was fine. Wow. So another very important concept to respect the chest pain, respect the symptoms. So if your investigation is okay and your patient is complaining, so go for more accurate investigation. So you did like ECG, it's normal. You did an echocardiogram, it's normal. You did an exercise test, it's normal. But your patient is still having chest pain. We have many patients like this. Because sensitivity of stress test, for example, is 66%. So once I send the patient to the CT or angiography, it's 100% sensitivity. Then I'll find a lesion. So the patient was right. The investigation wasn't right, and the patient was right. Wow. So this is very important. Another point, I have any opportunity I have, I usually mention this. Sometimes there's and symptoms which looks like other specialties, so like especially GIT. So if the patient having a GIT symptoms like burning sensation, epigastric pain, something like this, especially if you have risk factors, but I have many patients like 32 years old only. So if it is out of context, out of scenario, it's severe, it's persistent, it's happening with exercise, so please consider it as a cardiac pain and not GIT pain. And if it is not a cardiac pain, we are safe, nothing happened, you just missed some hours or some money, and that's it. But if it is a cardiac pain, so you save the patient. I used to have one of GIT specialist, once he has a patient like this, he sent the patient first to my clinic. Just exclude heart disease, then send him back to me. Yeah, it's safer.
That was very nice. That was a very nice incident you narrated. This person was lucky enough to be near Burjil. My next question to you is, what if he was not near a hospital and he's in his car and this happens to him? What does he do?
Okay. So as we said, in cardiology, we have guidelines. So in our guidelines, we have schedule in minutes. So if the patient is alone, he should head to any health facility, okay? So in health facility, if they are capable of, or if they are having cath lab, he should be she should be transferred to the cath lab within minutes. So, for example, in Barjeel Hospital, if they are calling me in the ambulance, we are shifting a patient with myocardial infarction and heart attack. Usually, the patient bypassed the emergency. So he go directly from the ambulance directly to the cath lab. Sometimes he's wearing his trousers and shirts, and we do everything there. Just not to spend 1 minute in the emergency room. This is extremely important. So all of the sudden, patient can collapse. He is fine and he can collapse. So if this is catheter capable hospital, he should go directly to the cath lab. If you don't have a cath lab, you should measure. In Oman, it's easy because it's not that crowded and we can shift patient to cath lab. But in general, if the expected time is 120, less than 120 minutes, send to the cath lab. If it is more than 120 minutes, we give something called thrombolytic therapy to dissolve the clot, and then send the patient to the cath lab at the same day. So this is important. The other important aspect, if the patient didn't reach the hospital, so those patients will benefit from a health awareness of what we call cardiopulmonary resuscitation and CPR. So everyone should be aware of the basic CPR and how to do CPR. And because I saw some videos here in Oman, especially in sports club, and we should have something called AED, automated defibrillator. So everyone should know the CPR. It's extremely easy to know. If you don't know anything, just compress on the patient chest, just to know where to compress and how to compress. That's it, just compress. And while you're compressing, they will bring the AED, and the AED will tell you everything, what to do and how to do, okay? So this is how to save life, and you can save life, then send patient to hospital.
There is no pill or any medication or anything they should do before they come? Okay. I mean, it could happen like where they are on the bed or at home.
If we don't have a contraindication like GIT bleeding, something like this, we recommend crushing 4 tablets of baby aspirin, 75, so a total 300 mg. This is the main. And some patients have a chronic heart disease, so they know they have a spray, sublingual spray. So sometimes they can use. So I tell them use it and wait 10 minutes. If you still have a pain, another puff. If you have still pain, 3rd puff while you are heading to the hospital. So either sublingual nitrates or crushing aspirin.
Thank you so much, doctor. My next question is to Dr. Sunila. How do you maintain a healthy weight in order to promote heart health? How is weight connected with heart health, and how does that maintaining your wealth help?
Yeah, so obesity is one of the predisposing most common high risk factor for any heart ailment. So unless and until you bring down your weight, I don't think you can really, overcome heart illnesses, whether it is just a hypertension or anything further to that. So you need to bring down your weight, and it's always better to go to a qualified dietitian who can help you devise a meal plan that is doable for you, that is sustainable for you, and that measures your progress in a scientific way. Please don't follow fad diets just because some celebrity nutritionist is promoting some kind of a meal plan and you blindly start doing it, or somebody of your acquaintance managed to lose 10 kgs in 2 months, you want to do the same thing to yourself. Please don't do that, especially if you have a heart condition or any other illness going on in the body. It's always better to invest. It's a small investment, we don't charge much. So you can come to us, we will devise a proper meal plan for you, and we will also help you monitor progress.
Thank you, Dr. Sunila. Premaji, my next question is to you. You've heard whatever doctors have said. How do you think yoga can help someone who is having heart-related issues? I know at a very complicated level we have to rush to him, but what do we do so that we don't even reach that stage where we need to go rush to meet him?
Yeah. Usually, people who come nowadays, like people are so busy, so stressed out, unless doctors say nobody comes for yoga. So the doctor will say, now you have to take care of your health. Come and start your some pranayama, some yoga, along with your other aspect of it. Yes, very few of them who take it as a preventive measure, but most of them come like when the doctor says, and I would suggest if they start from the beginning, it is good. Like they can, of course, with the right diet plays a major role. And I'll just say one thing about what our father of yoga, he's always speak about. Yoga is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That means yoga is to control the afflictions of the mind. The waves, like hurricane, it keeps coming. So because our mind is full of bundle of thoughts, you cannot stop thoughts coming. But how many thoughts are useful thoughts in a day? Have you just realized it in a day? How many thoughts come? And how many thoughts are really useful and which we are pondering on? 99% of the thoughts are waste. Maybe very few thoughts, maybe one or two, which is useful. But we keep always ponder on the negative thoughts and negative emotions. And that emotions, for every emotion, there is corresponding the breath. For example, if you're angry, the heartbeat will be fast. If you're happy, then get the deep and rhythmic. If you're sad, it'll be arrhythmic. So for every emotion, there is corresponding breathing. Then what you have to do is understand, study yourself. Okay, if I'm angry like this, my breathing is going wrong. I'm having this. Or in your office, in your workplace, suddenly you have a lot of work coming onto your table and you don't know how to handle. Palpitation will rise. That is because you are not able to respond to the situation, and body tries to react to that situation. At that time, pranayama, if you are able to understand the corresponding breathing pattern and your mind, how it reacts, then you can immediately change your breathing pattern and calm down, and you respond to the situation, which will help you in your day-to-day aspect. So, but pranayama only will you learn, you will be more awareness, mindfulness. That is what she was telling. Mindful. In yoga, mindfulness is very important. It's the first step. Then leads to mindlessness. Mindfulness is very important. Ultimately is mindlessness. That we know we don't need to reach, we are all laymen. But mindfulness of every aspect, every situation, every action you take, mindfulness is necessary. So that you understand what you're doing actually.
Thank you, Dr. Prema. I'm going to, at the end, I would request you to do a small 2-minute meditation for us, just to make us aware of the mindfulness that you are speaking about. Thank you so much. My next question is to you, Dr. Waleed. Many of us have these family history of these issues. We have a family history of, say, heart, sugar, hypertension. So are we doomed? Or is there a light at the end of the tunnel for us?
Always there is a light in the end of the tunnel. So genetic factor or family history is extremely important. And we consider it as a very important risk factor. So sometimes you have patient with heart disease. He's not diabetic, not hypertensive. He's not too old. Above 85, something like this, and still he's having heart disease. So once you search, you will find a strong, what we call strong family history. And even in the family running with coronary artery disease or heart disease related issues, in young age, we call it premature heart disease. Sometimes you find at the same age. So his father had heart disease while he is 35, the patient will have at the same age. So for such patients, we should have a very tight risk factor control. So patient should control his cholesterol, should follow with the doctor with a very minimal complaint or symptoms, something like this. We have other genetic diseases that even if we can control risk factors, it may happen. In such patient, we do screening for the family. So I ask the patient, his first-degree relatives to come and do echocardiogram and just to check. And sometimes we go even for genetic testing and sometimes. So yes, genetic factor and family history is very strong risk factors. So if the patient is following and doing his work or his job, everything will be fine.
Thank you so much. That is very reassuring to, I hope, not many of us. Another question is regarding technology, right? What are the new technological innovations happening? We have these watches which actually are supposed to indicate if you're getting a heart attack or not. So this is something that my iWatch is supposed to be doing. This is just at our level, but at your level, what are the new changes that are coming?
Okay, so we have some trials and papers talking about the accuracy of such devices. But practical-wise, it's not that we don't depend on that usually. So we have other ways. So for example, if I'm having patient with palpitation, I have a specialized machine that can be connected to the patient for 24 hours, for 48 hours, for 1 week, and even for 1 year. So sometimes we implant a very tiny machine under the skin for 1 year, and it can do everything. The other aspect, it's sometimes causing an anxiety for the patient. So the patient is following his heart rate. Doctor, my heart rate was 71 in the morning and it's 72 in the evening. So what happened? Okay, so you were talking or something like this. So sometimes it's on the other side, it's not a good issue. So usually, yes, we said, yes, this is accurate, this is not accurate, this is working, but usually we don't depend on this.
Thank you. The word stress came in fact, in all the conversations that we had. As chartered accountants, we always claim to have a very fast-paced, very stressful job. What are your tips for us?
Me too?
All of you. This is a common question to you all,
Okay,
actually.
so it's an recommendation. Stress, of course, also is a risk factors. We either for coronary artery disease, so sometimes it's cracking the cholesterol cap. So we have cholesterol cap causing a very mild disease in the coronaries, and the cap is cracked from the stress, and this is exposing the cholesterol to the bloodstream, causing all of a sudden the 20% obstruction to be 100% obstruction all of a sudden. So stress is a very important risk factors. And even we have syndrome. You'll see it a lot on internet and in posts called broken heart syndrome. So this is a real syndrome.
Say again?
Broken heart syndrome.
Oh, really? I
Yes.
thought it was only on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. It looks like a fake post, but actually I saw a couple of cases.
Oh, wow.
So yes, it's a real case. The explanation, scientific explanation, it's called an adrenaline surge. We have some hormones called adrenaline, and all of a sudden we'll have a surge of adrenaline. This causing what we call ballooning of the heart. So all of a sudden the heart muscle will be very weak, will be like a balloon, and the function of the heart will drop all of a sudden. Usually it's a very benign outcome, and the patient will recover usually with no sequelae in most of the patient, but it's may happen again. So stress is a very important risk factor, yes.
Stress and eating?
So eating per se may not lead to, or of course, if you're eating your favorite food, you feel happy and your stress levels will come down. But as a lifestyle coach, there are two other important things that we always stress upon to bring down your stress levels. One is physical activity, engaging in something that you find recreational and that gives you pleasure. It definitely brings down the cortisol levels and helps you feel better about yourself. So physical activity is a must. And the second thing is sleep. Before I talk about sleep, I want to know, usually people say that 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep is a good idea. My question to the audience is, so let's say if I sleep at 1 a.m. and wake up at 9 a.m., that's 8 hours of good sleep. It's uninterrupted, deep sleep. Is it good enough? Somebody said no. Would you like to expand on that? Just a sentence is okay. Why would you say it's not okay?
It's not the number of hours what we sleep, and it's that routine timing of your sleep time definitely
Sir, I'm
matters.
saying you routinely sleep at 1 a.m. and routinely get up at 9 a.m. and it's 8 hours of uninterrupted deep sleep. Is it okay? Children are, yeah, they are like that. Is it okay?
Maybe I don't have answer for that. Yes, I thought, okay.
I'll tell you, since all of you come from the world of finance, you are very well aware of stock markets. So it's not only important to know which stocks to invest in, how much to invest in, timing is important. The same is true for sleep also. 10 to 3 is the sleep time which gives you maximum benefit, as that's the time when body recovers the fastest. Maximum repair, maximum regeneration happens at that time. So if you aim to sleep by 10 p.m., your dinner should be done by 8 and no gadgets after 9 p.m. And even if you sleep for 5 hours up till 3 a.m., it should be fine for you. So those are the two things as lifestyle coaches we recommend people to bring down stress levels.
Thank you. Really good.
Premaji, your opinion?
Yes, the stress in yoga, what we teach, when we teach students, is to how to identify the good stress and the bad stress. Like, for example, in pranayama, when we teach them the 3 different cyclic breathing with abdomen and chest and clavicular breathing and all the deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. And when does it happen? For example, abdominal breathing. Now you're all sitting and watching, listening to us. So what kind of breathing is happening right now? Is it abdominal or is it chest? When you're relaxed, calm and quiet, you're not running around, neither you are emotionally stressed out, right? It is? I mean, there is only 2. So it is abdominal breathing when you're calm and quiet. When you sleep, what kind of breathing happens? Chest or abdomen? Abdomen. Why does it abdomen happen when you sleep? Because there is no. So now you are in stress. So because someone told that sorry.
Little bit I'm hearing from
No.
from doctor.
So basically, main aim of yoga is a tool to understand yourself, what kind of situation right now you are in every situation though. For example, now you're sitting and listening to me, and suppose you're doing chest breathing fast, as if you're running around. You're not running, but still. That means you have to identify that what is that it makes your heartbeat faster. Why your respiration pulse rate is going higher? What is the reason? So that is something wrong happening. No? Then you have to identify that and correct yourself. That is to identify. Basically, we are helping you to identify something wrong. Then you can proceed to doctor and hospital. Then, of course, when did you do last deep breath? When anybody did last deep breath? Or were you aware of, mindful of deep breath? Why do you do, and under what circumstance you do deep breath? Nobody has taken deep breath last.
I took a couple before I came on stage. Yes, I did.
So usually, when does deep breathing happens? All my students should know because I've taught them. When does the deep breathing happens? You know what? When you go on holiday, like holiday is going to start, okay, from Thursday. When you go to some beautiful location with your family, as soon as you see the beautiful scene, what do?
Take a deep breath.
Deep breath. Why do you take deep breath at that time?
You're trying to relax. No, you're trying to bring.
It shows your it shows your mental state, it shows your happiness, it shows your emotions, And when you complete a big task, what kind of breathing? Do you take abdomen, chest or deep? You take a deep breath and feel satisfied. It shows a sign of satisfaction. When does the chest breathing happens? Too much of stress and anxiety and palpitation. Also, good stress is also when you walk, when you climb step. Those are positive. That means it's a rhythmic way. And suppose in that stressful situation of walking, running, or climbing step, and you want to improve your stamina, in what way you will improve? The same thing. For example, you want to walk faster without getting tired. After coming home, if you binge on eating high sugar diet, then there is no use. Like you're wasting. So how do you convert that stress into a positive stress so that when you come back home, all of you, when you come back home from office, you don't look for the sweet, craving for the carb food. You should be looking for some healthy food, right? So for that, what you should do? Rhythmic chest breathing. For example, you are in stressful state during your office. You're walking, running, sitting, getting up, passing on papers, whatever. At that time, naturally, no abdominal breathing, chest breathing will happen. You observe, mindful of rhythmic chest breathing. Like, for example, if you inhale 3 seconds, exhale probably 6 seconds. Rhythmic way, that will help you to understand and maintain your stamina till the end of the evening. So when you come back home, you don't come with frustrated look on your face, and you don't want to come and shout at your family member for asking. If a wife, sees you, wife or husband, when somebody asks questions, children ask you any question, as soon as you come home, and you get frustrated and throw your, anger on them without the child or a wife won't understand why you are behaving like that. These things happen because throughout the office time, you are too much of stressed out, and you're not able to realize that what is happening to you. So yoga will, as a tool, it will help you to identify in what situation you are in, every situation, whether you're walking, talking, everywhere. Yoga is there everywhere. It's not just sitting and doing. Thank you.
True that. Thank you. That comes to another question on exercise. How much of exercise is good enough?
Okay, so also in cardiology we have a sector called preventive cardiology. So in preventive cardiology, we recommend regular exercise. And the minimum exercise needed is 150 minutes per week. So 30 minutes per day of walking, just walking, regular walking, at least 5 days a week. And then we can increase to 1 hour a day, around 5 days a week. So at least 150 minutes of just simple walking is very, very important and beneficial.
Thank you so much. I think this will be my last question, because I want to open up the questions to the audience. This is again on food and diet. We can, being in the office, we are there for 8 hours, 16 hours. We don't get the time to eat on time. We use that as an excuse for binging. When we travel, we claim, we travel a lot, and it's very difficult to maintain a good diet at that point. So do you have any tips for us?
So basically you're asking me that how to fit in a healthy diet or eating plan in a busy schedule, as well as eating plan when you're traveling or when you're attending business dinners, right? So the only answer to this question is failing to plan is planning to fail. The only way you can consistently eat healthy is by meal prep. So first of all, when you have long working hours and you are not in a mood to come back home and cook a meal for yourself, if you have already something prepared and kept ready in the refrigerator, it's much easier to eat that, and it will refrain you from eating the wrong kind of food. So on a weekend, whenever you find time, Friday, Saturday, if you have the time, you sit and cut and chop, get the groceries, or get someone to help you to do that. Again, the meal plan has to be devised, a weekly meal plan. Accordingly, you will purchase the groceries on whenever you have the time available, Friday, Saturday, Thursday evening, whatever is convenient to you. And then there is a proper way of cutting, chopping, and storing vegetables. You know that there is a significant nutrient loss if you cut fruits and vegetables and store them, but there is a way that you can do it, and it should be good to go for the coming 5 days in the week. So that is how you fit it into your busy schedule. Second is, when you are going out for business dinners, how do you choose the right kind of food? So the first thing is avoid multiple courses. So you have starters and drinks coming in first, and then you have the soup, then you have the main course, then you have the dessert. Try and avoid that and have one plate of food. But if it's unavoidable and that's the way the food is going to be served, then you should make the right choices. Try and go for a clear vegetable soup, so it fills you up nicely, and you are not really hungry for the main course. For the starters, for vegetarians, try to go for something that is grilled, baked. Try and avoid things that say cream of something or deep fried something. try and avoid those words should be a key to not go for. For non-vegetarians, always go for lean meat, seafood, fish, oily fish. Avoid red meat. For the main course, again, the same fundamentals will prevail, where you imagine your plate to be divided into 4 quadrants. Plate the protein first, then the fiber, and then a small amount of carb. Choose only one carb. Don't eat the rice and the bread and whatever else is, and some potatoes. And so don't overdo the carbs. You need carbs, but small portions. And then, of course, try and avoid the dessert. If you can't, a very small portion should be good enough. Avoid alcohol at all times. Oh, by the way, how many people think that alcohol is cardioprotective and a small drink, 1 or 2 drinks every day is good? Anybody? Yes. So they will say that, yes. So actually, there was a study that was published. There is a medical journal that goes by the name Lancet. So in 2018, there was a study that was published in that medical journal, which was widely misinterpreted and published in newspapers and social media, which led people to believe that a drink or two, especially wine, is good and it is heart healthy. The latest from World Heart Association, and now very recently from WHO also, is that all kinds of alcohol in any quantity is bad for your heart. So please don't do that if you're doing it or if you intend to do it. Alcohol is not good.
I can see Dr. Walid nodding. Do you agree with what she said? Yeah. So,
I'm not bothered by that. The fruits and vegetables company are good enough for me.
at this point, I would like to open up the discussion to our audience. I invite questions from the audience, but we do have a paucity of time, so I would request Badriji to... I can see one hand raised there. Dr. Fatin's hand is raised.
Hello. Doctor, when we talk about heart disease, in any discussion, they talk about only the heart attack. But, very less they talk about heart failure. Because, heart failure is, your electrical signal fails, the machine fails. So, heart attack, we can find it out. Like we'll have symptoms earlier. But heart failure, how to, identify it or how to, arrest this?
Okay, so heart failure sometimes is a sequelae of heart attack, sometimes. So heart failure have many reasons. The most important reason is the heart attack and ischemic heart disease. Other reasons like genetic issues, hormonal issues, and so on. Symptoms could be like the same: shortness of breath, leg swelling, dizziness, hypotension, low blood pressure, and so on. So we'll go back to the same concept. Don't wait until you have significant symptoms. Once you have starting some chest pain, some shortness of breath, go to your doctor and he will evaluate and tell you what to do. The other entity of patients are the patients who don't comply to recommendations. So you see patients and you diagnose them and you give them medicine, and they treat it as a flow event. So after taking medicine for 7 days, they call you, "Doctor, I finished the course." It's not a course. This is the bad news. You will continue taking the medicine forever. So we have a great advancement in medication, a great advancement in intervention. So the difference between patients, he will go and play football after 1 week, or patient he will be bedridden, is the decision to go to the hospital and do the catheter, for example, in the right time. His function is normal, his heart is okay, just for recovery for 1 week or 10 days, and afterwards he can play football and nothing to be done. If he is late, function will be affected, as you said. It's like a motor, heart is like a motor is affected, and we cannot get it back. So yes, once we have symptoms, we should go to the doctor. Same concept.
You brought out a very important point, lifestyle change, right? How difficult it is for you or for the patient to do that? What kind of challenges that they face and you as doctors face?
So usually I tell the patient what should be the healthy lifestyle. Then I compare the healthy lifestyle to his lifestyle. Then together we can find a compromise, what to do. Of course, we need to send patient to nutritionists. This is very important. Earlier we were discussing the self-implicated diet, like keto diet, which is unhealthy diet, and we don't recommend, and so on. So the patient do it from himself. He's not following a dietitian, and this is not right. So usually I do so. I tell him what is healthy lifestyle and what he's doing now, and how we reach the healthy lifestyle, including diet. This is the healthy diet, exercising, weight. This is very important. Waist circumference, very important risk factors, and stopping smoking, of course.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Prema ji, do you have anything to add on how yoga or meditation help in bringing these lifestyle changes, which will be like a long-term planning, not like something you did, you ate a pill and you're fine?
Yes. Yes. So yoga is a lifestyle management, as doctor says. You have to modify, and you have to first give priority to the overall well-being, and not just health, because there are so many of them who appears to be healthy, it looks healthy, fit, but they are very, very emotional, or they cannot handle the stress easily. So it is basically to understand that how yoga as a tool with so many aspects of yoga, with exercise, right asana, that is movement of body, and right breathing techniques to identify yourself, whether you're in happy situation, how your body behaves in all the situation, as well as meditation. Meditation is a state. It just happens. For example, when you are sitting right now and you're listening to me and listening to us, so at that time you are focusing at what we are saying. So when you meditate, or when you are into the process of meditation, there are certain you can observe in your body. For example, if during the focus time, when you are focusing on us, that your eyeballs won't move, that is the first step of that you are focused. That can be different also. Sometimes you are observing us, but your mind will be somewhere else. So that is also one. Another thing is you have to observe while meditating. There are many meditative techniques are there. Very simple, which if I have time, I can suggest you, that is breath meditation. That is very, very simple, because breath is the only one which is there at this right moment with you. You are neither in the past, neither in the future, but in the present moment. That is the simplest and easiest mindful meditation, which will really help you and can be practiced anytime, even in your office, even while traveling. When you know how to practice it, you can practice anywhere, anytime, even after food. But only after food, what happens is mind becomes lazy. That is why we suggest don't do after heavy meals, but before meals.
Thank you, Dr. Prema. Our next question is from Dr. Fatin.
Thank you so much for the wonderful and insightful session. I have a question on prevention. If there is a family history and you have genetical concerns for heart attacks, is there any recommendation for supplements that can be taken so you can mitigate this? I heard, for instance, with heart attack, magnesium is prescribed in addition to vitamin B. But I would like to know, the combination of some of the supplements that we can use to prevent.
Yes, so if I talk about the micronutrients that are especially helpful when it comes to heart health, the first thing is that instead of going in for supplements, until and unless you are grossly deficient in them and you need a medication to quickly raise the levels, try and get it from natural food sources, because that way the body absorbs it better. To very quickly enumerate, the first thing is omega-3, which is a fatty acid, and it is cardioprotective because it is anti-inflammatory. So if you cannot get it from your food, from your fish, or from your cod liver oil, then it's better to take it in the form of a supplement. The second thing is regulating vitamin D levels, because as you know, vitamin D comes from cholesterol. Okay, at this point, I just want to make one thing clear to the audience, that most people think that cholesterol comes from food. But if supposing your body has 100 milligrams of cholesterol, it's only 20% that comes directly from the diet. The remaining 80% is synthesized within your body by the liver, right? So the cholesterol is a precursor to vitamin D. If your vitamin D levels are low, your liver automatically starts producing more cholesterol. So there could be a number of reasons why your cholesterol is high and not necessarily because you are following a wrong kind of diet. So vitamin D levels have to be maintained, number 2. Number 3 is antioxidants. I already mentioned very briefly vitamin A, C and E. So better to get it from your food, whether it is your yellow and orange fruits and vegetables, or whether it is your citrus fruits, or whether it's your nuts and seeds, avocados. If not, if the levels are really low, then you may need to take the medication for some time. And as you mentioned, magnesium, you must have commonly heard about dark chocolate being cardioprotective. Have a small piece of dark chocolate after food. So how dark should the chocolate be? At least 78% and beyond. And if you're not a chocolate person, what you can do is add organic raw cacao powder. It's commonly available in all the food aisles in all major supermarkets, whether it is Lulu, Carrefour. So you can add that as a powder to your nuts or to your porridge. That's an excellent source of magnesium. If you don't want to eat the magnesium, you can also absorb it. So there is a salt called magnesium sulfate. You can add it to your bath and soak in it for 10 minutes. That also helps you to absorb magnesium from the water. So, and the other two minerals that are of importance in heart health are zinc and chromium. Again, widely spread in the plant kingdom. So if you're having a full mixed diet, you're having a variety of fruits, variety of vegetables, more important to have what is in the season, what is locally grown, because they are nutritionally richer than the ones that are exported or imported from other countries. So a full mixed diet should be able to cater to all the needs. And supplements are recommended only if the levels are alarmingly low. In B complex, the B3 is indicated in heart health. Again, it's widely available in the food that you eat. Unless and until you are grossly cutting down on food groups, you should not be needing to supplement that.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Okay,
Yes,
3 more.
Shilpaji. This question is to Dr. Waleed. Since you referred to evidence-based approach, is it a fact that over the last 2 to 3 years, there has been a significant increase in the number of young and middle-aged people getting heart attacks? And if it is a fact, what do you attribute it to?
Yes, it's a fact, and we are discussing this. So every maybe weeks or two, I'm doing a patient from 30 to 40 years old, and sometimes the only risk factor is smoking. This is the major, usually, smoking, sometimes genetic, and sometimes the stress too. So yes, it's an maybe generally it's a lifestyle aspect. So we have stress, we have smoking, we have bad habits in food, we have bad habits of not exercising well. So it's a general aspect that we don't have a healthy lifestyle. So this is frequent, and this is why we are telling our GB doctors. So please, we know that one of the risk factors is the age, but please don't depend on that. Even if you have a patient like 30 years or something and he is having typical pain or typical symptoms, just please proceed as he is a much older patient. So it's happening. We don't have a solid evidence why it's happening, but we can appreciate, yes, it's happening and it's frequently happening, yes.
So you mean lifestyle has changed drastically over the last
Yes,
2 years?
yes, it could be, yes. So we can say during COVID era, we still have patients with COVID, but during the surge of COVID era, we have 2 main issues. We have many patients with clots, sudden clots inside the coronaries, many patients, and they are very young, 30 years, 31 years. Once I go like this, I do COVID with no symptoms, no sneezing, no coughing, nothing. So I saw the coronaries, I fixed the coronaries, I do COVID test, it's positive. And the other entity is what we call myocarditis, inflammation of the heart. And until now, we are observing sequelae of this. So you have patient with heart failure coming because of the history of myocarditis. And the other aspect is the non-medical aspect, which is the stress, losing jobs for some people, increasing the stress, and so on.
I got two questions. Okay, one is what causes fatty liver, despite not having any vices like smoking, drinking, or taking sugary foods, etc. And the other question is, like sometime back, I'll tell you last week or something, that I got a forward in WhatsApp over there stating that there are 7 reasons that could reduce your lifespan. One was definitely having food while watching TV or something like that. I can tell you one classic example. As most of you on 8th of December would have seen the World Cup final, football World Cup final. It was such a thrilling match between France versus Argentina. I was having my food literally while watching the match. I didn't get up from my seat at all over there. And still today I'm hale and hearty. How do you attribute to this? Is it really true, or has it been scientifically proved that you keep watching
the
TV and
first
snacking
question
and
I'm
eating, it
not
reduces
going
your
to.
lifespan, you get a heart attack or something like that?
Okay, so can do the fatty liver. So I cannot answer this question. This is not my aspect of specialty. Probably a gastroenterologist can answer this. The other one.
Okay, so when you're watching anything that emits blue light, any screen, whether it's a phone or an iPad or a TV, while eating, it significantly affects the micronutrient absorption, calcium and magnesium, and both nutrients are essential for heart health. So that could be one reason. Second thing is, because you're so engrossed in watching whatever it is that you are watching, there is a fair chance of choking. So, I mean, that could be the reason. But apart from that, I'm not aware of any correlation between death, food, and screen.
Shilpa, I'm taking this liberty of narrating a personal experience relating to a medical situation. I thought people should benefit out of it. This is relating to a condition of cholesterol. Sorry, this is nothing against the doctors. This is a personal experience which probably I think everyone should take advantage of. As you all know, has anyone tried some holistic therapy to reduce cholesterol?
Can you please elaborate on the holistic therapy?
No, I'm coming to it. I want to add a little bit of suspense so that this question was very nice since you asked me what is this situation. See, I have tried personally for the last 15 years and I've seen a tremendous control on my cholesterol. Of course, I do take the medicines, but very, very minimum when I started off originally. What I used to do is that even today, I mean, as recent as yesterday, in the night when you go to sleep, you take 2 okras, what do you call it in Hindi as bendi, okay? You take the raw okras, soak it them in water. I repeat, soak it them in water, put it and seal it in a tumbler or something, and then keep it overnight. When you get up in the morning, don't brush your teeth. Drink the water first and also chew the okra completely. I assure you it will not be easy because it will be very sticky and it will give a very sort of a very weird taste for your mouth. But once you get used to it, that's it, you can continue. And after that, about 10 or 15 minutes later, you have your coffee. I'm telling you, the cholesterol is at a very controlled level. Very, very controlled level, because empirically, I've even left off my medicine for about 3-4 months to see how it is. I've never taken the medicines for 3-4 months. Then after some time, I used to take a minimum dose. So I've been practicing it for the last 15 years. So I guess I thought share my experience with everybody. Thank you.
Any comments on that?
I'm just holding the mic. So what you consider a normal cholesterol? What is the numbers of normal cholesterol you consider?
I'm sorry?
What you consider as a normal cholesterol?
Within the limits.
What is the limit?
I don't remember the values exactly.
Okay, so values itself is not right. So values you see over the paper is not the right values. So when you see a range over the paper,
You maybe keep it a little away.
yes, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. Okay. So when we talk about targets, it depends on the patients. So for diabetic patients, it's different from heart patients. It's different from patient with genetic issue and so on. So to read the value is not right. So I have my patient with heart disease, yesterday I was talking about, his LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, is 3, which looks amazing. But actually, his target should be 1.8. And this is why he's going to non-specialists, and they are giving him medicine for 2 or 3 weeks, and repeating the test, you are 3, you are fine, just go home. His target is not 3, he's 1.8, and so on. So first, it depends on the risk factors. And the second point is sometimes the statin itself, the medicine itself, is very beneficial as not only lowering the cholesterol, it's working as what we call anti-inflammatory, stabilizing the plaque of the heart disease, the coronary artery disease, and making the plaque to rupture is very difficult. The third point is we cannot depend on personal experience. This is not right. Because...
No, I beg to disagree. I only said this is my person. I didn't say...
Yeah, I know.
It's not against
Yes, yeah, I know. And this is not against you, it's a general...
You're always allowed to use caveats.
Yes, I know. I'm talking generally because I'm facing this every day. So, I even cannot depend on my personal experience generally. So because my experience depending on 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 patients per day. But the trial I am talking about is meta-analysis of 1 million, 2 million people. And if I'm giving you percentage, I'm not telling you that the conclusion is 100%. I'm telling you this is 60%, which is very important or significant percentage. So this is also a very important point. So sticking to the medicine is important. The last point, if you want to drink or eat whatever you want to do, whatever you want to drink, whatever you want to eat, just please do it. If it is not harmful, please do it, but stick to my medicine. That's it.
Well said, Doctor.
Okay, we'll have the last question of this evening.
Doctor, actually you have mentioned about exercise. You said 1 hour 50 minutes in a week will be sufficient. And recently I read an article where, they said about intensive exercise for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, which can, comparable with doing 1 hour exercise daily on a regular basis. Is doing this type of intensive exercise is good for heart, or, it is totally avoidable?
We don't recommend this. We recommend, our recommendation still is walking, and if we are talking about isometric exercising, we are even giving it a less timing per week. We said like 3 times per week is maximum. So usually we don't recommend something like this as long as we have the alternative. Is 30 minutes is not that much time to do exercise per day. And as I said, it's very simple. It's not costly. You shouldn't go to gym or do something. You can either walk within your yard or having a small treadmill, and that's it. So it's that easy. I don't have a full answer about whether a 2 minutes or 3 minutes intense exercise is equalizing to 30 minutes of walking, but I won't recommend this as long as I don't have evidence.
Thank you, Doctor. I guess with this we come to the end of our panel discussion. It was an amazing, insightful discussion. To sum up, we understand that it's a lifestyle change that we are talking about. We need to listen to our doctors, and there are many tools that are available to handle stress and the daily buzz that we live in. Thank you so much for all your insights. Thank you for being an excellent audience and for asking these wonderful questions. Like I requested Dr. Prema ji to help us with a 2-minute meditation. Is the audience ready for a 2-minute meditation? Yes. So we would now follow Prema ma'am's guidance and go ahead with it.
So I would request all of you to keep your phone in silence. Keep your feet down and don't cross your legs. Yeah? Since we are talking about heart and the health and the happiness, today I will show you some mudra. Mudra means the hand gesture, simple one, which is very good for heart. It's called as Mrityu Sanjeevani Mudra. That means it's very good for heart. it's not, I'm telling it, it's been written so many years ago and they have time tested formulas. So it is done like this, with the middle two finger touching the tip of your thumb. Okay, and the index finger at the base of your thumb. I hope you understood. If you make mistake in this mudras, then it will lead to some other benefit. So not for the heart. But so just learn this properly. It's for the heart we are saying. So if you do like this, middle two fingers touching the tip of your thumb, and index finger, no, that is wrong. Middle two finger touching and yes, and index finger at the base of your thumb. This is called as Mrityu Sanjeevani Mudra. Those who understand Hindi and Sanskrit, this is very, very good for the heart. I think Negiji will agree that because he is also the yoga expert here. So this is, while doing this, how does it help? How does this fingertips help to connect? Because according to yogic science, our fingers represent one element. What is there outside is inside us. So what is there outside? The fire. Outside, sun. Sun is inside us, the heat, in form of heat. Then this is Vayu. That is outside air. This is Vayu is inside us. Then this is the space. Space is inside us. That's why everything is being placed at their respective position. And then earth outside. And this is water element. So when we do this middle two fingers and the index finger. So what is the most important aspect for the people who are anxious? What quality they have of this 5 element, one of the 5 element, what quality they have? Which out of this 5 element, which quality they have? Vayu. Vayu quality. What is Vayu? The air, right? How is air? Always keeps moving. It can never be steady at one place. The mind is like air. So by keeping this finger under the base of a fire, we are trying to control our mind. Simple. And this middle two finger is earth and the space. That we are also balancing by doing this. So this 3, that is 3 aspect, we are going to follow. And don't expect too much of miracles and happenings in one day. Just close your eyes and sit. And this happens in the process. As I told you, yoga is a process. It's just a tool. And how seriously each one does is a completely different aspect. Close your eyes. Hands in Apana Vayu Mudra or Mrityu Sanjeevani Mudra. Make sure eyes are closed. And your legs are firmly placed on the floor. Your head, neck, and spine are in straight line. You can remove your glasses if you want, because it's an inward journey, not outward journey. So you sit tall. Very, very important aspect of meditation. You're sitting tall, like head, neck, and spine in straight line, and gaze at the nose tip. The gaze is at the nose tip. The moment your gaze comes at the nose tip, naturally, your mind settles down. Then let's start with the body awareness before we go for the mind awareness. Take your awareness to your feet once again. Steady and still. No movement of your toes as well. Complete stillness of your feet, including your toes. You want to move, but you can't. Just be still. It's only for 5 minutes. Take your awareness to your arms in the respective mudras. Still and steady. Very still. Absolutely still. Just be aware as a third person of your body. Take your awareness to your shoulders pushed backward. Still, absolutely still. Take your awareness to your chin, slightly lifted up, slightly lifted up. Take your awareness to your tongue. Very important aspect of the meditation is your tongue. Just allow your tongue to touch the upper palate. Lock the tongue. The moment you lock your tongue, naturally, the saliva is less produced. That means the thoughts will be less. The tongue touching the upper palate. Lock it. Take your awareness to your eyes. Eyes are closed, but still you are aware. You have much clarity. Eyes are closed. Your eyelashes are not touching each other heavily. It's not sleeping state. It's complete awareness state. Complete being mindful of what you're doing right now. The eyelashes are not heavy at all. It is gently placed on top of each other. Just be aware of the eyelashes. There can be small gap between the eyelashes, but still you cannot see anything. You're just aware. Now, aware of your eyeballs. Very important point to be noted, your eyeballs. Eyeballs are focused at your nose tip. Focus it. Do not move your eyeballs. Eyeballs are not moving. Just be aware at your nose tip. Steadiness. Just be aware of this eyeballs. Maintaining the awareness on your eyeballs. Just see with your breath, using your breath, your abdominal breathing, or any natural breath. Make sure eyeballs are not moving at all. Not moving at all with your breath. You're breathing in, you're breathing out. You're breathing in, your eyeballs are steady, breathing out. Your eyeballs are completely steady, breathing in, breathing out. For 11 breath, without moving your eyeballs, without missing even a single breath, not even a single thought in between. Keep your awareness. Follow your breath. There won't be any instruction for next 2 minutes. Follow your breath, maintaining the awareness. Steadiness of your eyeballs. If you miss the breath in between, start from one again. Keep following your breath. Do not miss even a single breath. One more minute. Keep following your breath. Eyeballs are not moving, absolutely steady. Relax. Keeping your eyes closed, just relax. Just relax. Observe your mind, the stillness of your mind. If you have still any thoughts coming and going, just witness it. Because you are not your body, you are not your mind. You are that blissful state. You are that eternal happiness. You are in that state. You are not your body, you are not your mind. Just spread this awareness of happiness. Spread this awareness of gratitude to everyone around who don't get opportunity to practice. Spread this awareness to all those whom you know in the form of bright light, a positive light, an aura. Spread awareness to all those whom you know. May all be happy and at peace. To all those whom you don't know, spread the awareness of happiness and peace. Spread the awareness to all those whom you don't like. Let them also be happy and at peace. Spread the awareness to all the animals and birds who are suffering. Let them also be at peace and happiness. Feel happy. Feel the lightness in your heart. Feel the lightness in your heart. That you have shared the happiness with everyone around. Gently rub your hands. Rub your hands and cover your eyes for a while. Hold it for a while and feel the warmth. And gently release. Thank you so much.
That was an amazing experience. Thank you, Premaji. I guess the entire panel discussion now requires a big round of applause. A big thank you to all of you three for your wonderful contribution today. I'm sure we all have a lot of points and a lot of things that you said will stay in our heads. And we hope to make the changes and to live the life and have a heart healthy and a happy life. So thank you so much. I'm signing off, wishing you all a big smiles and smile from your heart, everyone.
I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Walid, Dr. Sunila and Prema ma'am for graciously participating in this panel discussion. My next job is to announce for dinner, but after hearing this discussion, I either have only khabuz bread or rice, no two carbs. And only 4 quadrants, so I'll make sure protein. So we'll have quick felicitation. May I request Dr. Rajesh to felicitate Dr. Walid. Dr. Rajesh, please.
Before the felicitation, there is a request from Pema ma'am. She wants all of you to chew your food properly no matter what you plate.
May I request C.A. Chandrasekhar to felicitate Dr. Sunila? May I request C. Astha Rangan to felicitate Prema ma'am? Can I request Dr. Fatin to felicitate our moderator, CA Shilpa? I request Vice Chairman CA Jim for formal vote of thanks.
Like doctor mentioned, COVID is still there and we have challenges in the business also. So I take this opportunity to thank the Almighty for giving us one more chance to have the iftar together. I remember last time we had the iftar in Al Falaj Hotel when Madam Fatin did the presentation on Islamic finance. Madam, thank you very much for joining us today. We had an excellent panel discussion. I will say it was a perfect composition. We had a cardiologist, a nutritionist, a yoga specialist, and our Shilpa also. So it was a wonderful panel discussion. Thanks, Dr. Walid, Dr. Sunila, and Ms. Prema. Thanks to Burjil team. Thanks to the medical team for the test. Like Sajeev mentioned, it is the this April is work and worship actually. Work is going on one side, and Ramadan worship is going on. So those who did the pressure testing and got higher pressure levels, don't worry, it will come down after April 30. So thanks to all for joining today. Thanks to CBFS and Dr. Rajesh for joining. Thanks to our supporters, Tally, Soho. Thanks to all the members. Eid Mubarak to all in advance. Enjoy the dinner. Thank you.